I never imagined my quiet life in the sun-scorched suburbs of Phoenix would unravel into a neighborhood nightmare straight out of a Lifetime movie. But that's exactly what happened last summer in the gated enclave known as Desert Palms Estates. The place was one of those cookie-cutter communities where every house looked like it was stamped out by the same indifferent architect. Stucco walls in shades of beige and tan, identical driveways lined with drought-resistant succulents, and a community pool that smelled faintly of chlorine and unspoken resentments. At the helm of it all was the Desert Palms Homeowners Association, or HOA, a tight-fisted regime ruled by Brenda Mills, the self-appointed empress of bylaws and busybody extraordinaire. Let's start the today topic of our story. Welcome to our channel. Brenda was in her mid-50s, with a perpetual highlight-streaked bob, yoga pants that screamed active lifestyle, and a clipboard she wielded like a scepter. As HOA president, she'd turned the monthly meetings in the clubhouse into spectacles of petty tyranny, fining folks $50 for untrimmed oleanders, mandating that Christmas lights come down by January 2nd sharp, and once even threatening to tow a retiree's ancient pickup for aesthetic incompatibility. Her husband, Ed, was her silent enforcer, a balding accountant who nodded along to her edicts while nursing a lukewarm Coors Light. Their son, Tyler, 24 and perpetually underemployed, rounded out the family dynasty. He lounged around in board shorts and a faded ASU hoodie, dreaming of TikTok fame but settling for vaping on the back patio. Me? I'm Jack Harlan, 48, a grease-stained freelance mechanic who fixes transmissions by day and tinkers with dreams by night. My wife, Sarah, and I had bought our two-bedroom rancher here 5 years ago, right after she started showing symptoms of MS. The house was our anchor, but the real heart of our life was the 2023 Sequence motorhome parked in the driveway. A sleek, silver beast with off-road tires, a pop-up solar roof, and an interior we'd customized together during her good days. Sarah called it our rolling oasis. We'd stuffed it with her herbal tea tins, my toolbox, and a stack of her favorite audiobooks on grief and resilience. She'd knit throws for the fold-out couch, her fingers steady even as the disease crept in. "Promise me you'll take it everywhere when I'm gone," she'd said one night, her voice a whisper against the hum of the air conditioner. Cancer, no, wait, MS complications. Took her last winter, leaving me with the house, our scruffy golden retriever Max, and that motorhome gathering dust like an unfulfilled vow. I needed to get away. Sedona was calling. A 2-week solo pilgrimage to the Red Rocks for some vortex-chasing clarity, and maybe a few nights under stars that didn't remind me of her empty side of the bed. Before heading out, I fired off a quick post in the Desert Palms Estates neighborhood Facebook group. Off to Sedona for a couple weeks of soul-searching. If Max starts serenading the moon too loud, feel free to toss him a biscuit over the fence. Emergency keys under the terracotta flower pot by the back door. Strictly for catastrophe scenarios only. It got a handful of heart emojis, including a thumbs up from Brenda herself. "Safe travels, Jack. Community watches out for its own," she commented, with that passive-aggressive flair that made my teeth grind. Little did I know, she was already plotting. 2 days into my trip, as I nursed a campfire coffee at a BLM site off Highway 89A, my phone blissfully silent on airplane mode. The heist was underway back home. Brenda had spotted my post like a hawk eyeing roadkill. The annual Desert Palms HOA summer soiree was looming. A lackluster affair of lukewarm hot dogs and enforced small talk by the pool. And she craved something Instagram-worthy to boost her re-election chances. "Why settle for folding chairs when we've got a rolling palace right next door?" she texted her in. Circle, Ed, Tyler, and a cadre of loyalists including nosy retiree couple the Patels, who handled the newsletter, and ambitious young mom Lisa from down the block, secretary, with a side hustle in essential oils. Tyler, smelling easy glory, jumped in. "Mom, it's got a killer sound system. We could turn it into a desert disco." They moved under cover of dusk, the Arizona sky bruising purple. Ed jimmied the gate with a library card. Old habits from his misspent youth. While Tyler scooped up the key from under the pot, Max dozing obliviously on the porch. The motorhome's door hissed open like a guilty confession, releasing a puff of pine-scented air freshener mixed with the faint lavender of Sarah's essential oils. Inside, it was a time capsule. The queen bed still made with her monogram duvet, the galley kitchen stocked with protein bars and a half-read copy of Desert Solitaire on the counter. But they didn't see sanctuary. They saw stage props. The transformation was swift and sacrilegious. Tyler strung fairy lights across the pop-top roof, their glow casting ethereal shadows on the saguaros. Brenda hauled in her signature sangria vat, fortified with cheap tequila, and a charcuterie spread that looked Pinterest perfect but tasted like regret. The Patels contributed deviled eggs and unsolicited advice, while Lisa blasted a playlist of millennial throwbacks. Taylor Swift bleeding into old-school Outcast. Neighbors trickled in, about a dozen at peak, drawn by the illicit buzz. The reclusive widower Mr. Kowalski showed up with his flask of bourbon, muttering about finally some life in this tomb. Even skeptical holdouts like the young tech couple, Raj and Mia, wandered over, phones out for stories they'd regret posting. For the first hour, it hummed with forced jollity. Brenda held court from the swivel passenger seat, her clipboard swapped for a plastic cup. To Desert Palms Unity, she toasted, clinking against Ed's beer. Tyler commandeered the driver's console as a DJ booth, rifling through the glove box and pocketing Sarah's silver charm bracelet, a delicate thing with a tiny cactus pendant she'd worn on our first date. Souvenir, he shrugged to no one, slipping it into his pocket. Spills happened early. A sloshed IPA soaking the throw rug, deviled egg yolk smearing the leatherette cushions. A kid from Lisa's crew, 8 and feral, scratched the oak cabinet with a toy truck, giggling as if it were all part of the fun. Inside, the air thickened with laughter, weed smoke, Arizona legal, but not in my non-smoker's haven, and the undercurrent of entitlement that defined Brenda's reign. By 10 p.m., the driveway felt too confining, the neighbors' porch lights flickering like judgmental eyes. Brenda, 3 sangrias deep, her cheeks flushed under the string lights, slammed her cup on the console. This party's dying in neutral. Tyler, fire her up. Let's cruise the back roads, keep the magic alive. Ed's protest was a half-hearted mumble. Insurance, Bren, think about the insurance. But drowned out by cheers. The group, 14 souls now, a sardine tin of suburbia, piled in, bodies wedged on the bed, laps doubling as seats, coolers teetering in the aisle. Tyler, buzzed on adrenaline and a pilfered White Claw, slid behind the wheel. His license, suspended twice for DUIs he swore were bad luck. Experience, zilch beyond joyrides in Ed's F-150. I've got this, easy peasy, he boasted, key fob trembling in his grip. The Thor sequence groaned to life, diesel heart pounding like a guilty pulse. They lurched out of the cul-de-sac, headlights carving erratic paths through the inky desert. Route 17's feeder road unspooled ahead, a lonely blacktop flanked by whispering mesquite and distant mountain silhouettes. Inside, the chaos crescendoed. Sangria sloshing onto the floor mats, a joint's ash dusting the dashboard, Lisa's kid belting, shake it off-key. Brenda rode shotgun, map app glowing, narrating detours to scenic overlooks that were just ditches in the dark. Tyler pushed 65, the speedometer fluttering like a trapped bird, his foot heavy on the pedal to outrun the growing knot in his gut. 15 miles out, fate, or karma, intervened. Blue and red strobes erupted in the mirrors, a Arizona Department of Public Safety Troopers cruiser materializing like a desert mirage turned predator. Tyler's foot slammed the brake. The motorhome fishtailed onto the gravel shoulder, crunching to a halt amid a chorus of yelps. Shit, Mom, cops, he hissed, hands fossilized on the wheel, sweat beading despite the AC's futile blast. Trooper Elena Ramirez, late 30s, no nonsense with a braid like coiled rebar and eyes that had clocked 1,000 bad nights, approached slow, flashlight beams slicing through the windows like a scalpel. Her partner, Officer Hale, hung back by the cruiser, radio crackling. Ramirez rapped on the door. Step out. Hands where I can sim. License, registration, and a damn good explanation for why this rig's packed like a clown car. The door swung open, disgorging the horde. Neighbors stumbling into the night air, reeking of booze and panic. Spilled cups littered the steps. The joint's ember winked out under a boot. Brenda emerged first, trying to summon her HOA imperiousness, but it crumbled like dry tortilla. "Officer, this is a misunderstanding. Community event. The owner, Jack Harlan, he's away, but we're authorized. Key under the pot, see?" Ramirez's beam swept the interior. Chaos confirmed. Open containers in violation of Arizona's open bottle laws. The acrid haze screaming misdemeanor possession. Tyler's breathalyzer lit up like a slot machine. 0.12, well over the limit. DUI, unauthorized use of a vehicle. That's felony territory if it's grand theft auto, Ramirez said flatly, cuffs snapping on Tyler's wrists. He froze, face ashen, mumbling, "It was just a spin." Brenda's turn next. Aiding and abetting, her empire evaporating in the trooper's glare. Ed slunk into the shadows, calling Ubers for the stragglers, while the Patels whispered furiously about lawsuit potential. Back in Sedona, dawn painted the cliffs gold as my phone finally caught a bar of service. The flood hit, voicemails from the impound lot. "Your Thor sequence? Sir. Towed after a multi-passenger stop." Frantic texts from neighbors. "Jack? Brenda went too far, sorry." And a group chat imploding with alibis and accusations. My stomach dropped like a seized engine. I packed in a haze, Max's anxious whine the only sound, and burned rubber back to Phoenix. Harmonica clutched in my fist like a talisman. I hit the neighborhood by noon, the sun a merciless interrogator. Max was a dehydrated mess, bowl bone dry, formatted with neglect. The driveway gaped empty. Fairy light detritus tangled in the gate like confetti from hell. At the impound lot on the edge of town, a chain-link purgatory of seized dreams, I found her. The rolling oasis, scarred and violated. Dents puckered the side panel from Tyler's erratic swerve. The carpet squished underfoot, sodden with sangria. Scratches latticed the cabinets like accusations. And the bracelet gone. A hollow in the glove box where Sarah's touch lingered. Ramirez met me there. Her report crisp. Joyride gone south. HOA presidents footing the bill for cleanup. But press charges if you want. Happens more than you'd think. Entitled folks borrowing community spirit. The confrontation brewed all afternoon, peeking at Brenda's door as the sun dipped low. She answered in yesterday's clothes, mascara tracks like war paint in defeat, clutching a styrofoam coffee like a lifeline. Ed hovered behind, eyes downcast. Tyler was already at the station, bail pending. "Jack, honey, it spiraled. We just wanted to honor your adventures." "Marco, no, Sarah. Would have loved the energy." I cut her off, voice low thunder. "Sarah built this with her hands, Brenda. While you were fining me for a damn awning shadow. You didn't borrow a ride. You hijacked a grave." Her tears flowed then, real ones, cracking the facade of Desert Palm's Iron Lady. But I saw it clear. Not malice, but the rot of small power corruption. The kind that finds widows for weeds while pocketing their peace. The reckoning rippled wide. Tyler copped a plea, 6 months probation, mandatory AA, license yanked for a year. Brenda resigned in disgrace at an emergency HOA meeting, the clubhouse packed with pitchfork-wielding residents airing grievances. The Patels decrying her newsletter censorship, Raj and Mia outing her kickback deals with the pool guy. Desert Palms estates teetered on dissolution, bylaws rewritten by a caretaker board of actual humans. Lisa sold essential oils door-to-door as penance, and even Ed started therapy, trading cores for counseling. For me, restitution came slow. The HOA's insurance covered the $8,000 repair tab, bodywork at my shop, deep clean steam at a specialist, a new bracelet forged from Sarah's old ring. I added a GPS tracker and biometric lock, Max's paw print etched on the dash. A month later, I fired up the Thor again, engine purring like forgiveness. Sedona waited, but this time it felt like return, not escape. As the highway swallowed us, Springsteen's Thunder Road crackled from the speakers, Sarah's favorite. We drive with the scars, because that's what roads do. They heist your heart, then hand it back stronger, mile by dusty mile. In desert palms, they learned the cost of stolen dreams. Me? I reclaimed mine one turn at a time. Thanks for watching. If you want, like, share and subscribe.